Installing a circuit breaker panel directly within a fire-rated wall in a multifamily dwelling constitutes a violation of established electrical codes and building regulations. Fire-rated walls are specifically engineered and constructed to provide a predetermined level of resistance to the spread of fire, smoke, and heat. Their primary purpose is to compartmentalize a building, thereby slowing down fire propagation and affording occupants valuable time for evacuation and emergency responders the opportunity to control the blaze. The integrity of these fire-rated walls is paramount to ensuring the safety of the building's occupants and the protection of property. Introducing any penetration or discontinuity in a fire-rated wall, such as the installation of a circuit breaker panel, inherently compromises its fire resistance capabilities. The opening created to accommodate the panel provides a potential pathway for flames, smoke, and heat to bypass the fire barrier, negating its intended protective function. Electrical codes and building regulations are meticulously crafted to minimize fire hazards and ensure the safety of electrical installations within structures. These codes typically mandate that electrical equipment, including circuit breaker panels, be installed in a manner that does not compromise the fire resistance rating of walls or other fire-rated assemblies. Installing a panel in a fire-rated wall not only violates these regulations but also introduces a significant fire safety risk. The potential consequences of such a violation can be severe, ranging from accelerated fire spread and increased property damage to potential injuries or loss of life. To maintain the fire resistance integrity of walls in multifamily dwellings, circuit breaker panels should be installed in locations that do not compromise the fire rating. This may involve installing the panel on a non-fire-rated wall adjacent to the fire-rated wall or constructing a suitable enclosure around the panel that provides an equivalent level of fire protection. When planning electrical installations in multifamily dwellings, it is essential to consult with qualified electrical engineers, architects, and local building officials to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. These professionals can provide guidance on the proper placement and installation of electrical equipment, taking into account the building's fire resistance requirements and ensuring the safety of its occupants. In addition to adhering to code requirements, it is also crucial to implement sound electrical safety practices during installation and maintenance. This includes using appropriate wiring methods, properly grounding equipment, and regularly inspecting electrical systems for any signs of damage or deterioration. By following these guidelines, electrical contractors and building owners can help minimize the risk of electrical fires and ensure the safety of buildings and their occupants. Fire-rated walls are a critical component of a building's fire protection system. Their ability to contain a fire and slow its spread can make a significant difference in the outcome of a fire emergency. Therefore, it is imperative that these walls are properly maintained and protected from any damage or modifications that could compromise their fire resistance capabilities. Installing a circuit breaker panel in a fire-rated wall is a serious code violation that can have significant consequences. By adhering to code requirements and implementing sound electrical safety practices, we can help ensure the safety of buildings and their occupants and prevent electrical fires from causing property damage, injuries, or loss of life. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides comprehensive guidelines for electrical installations, including requirements for fire stopping and maintaining the integrity of fire-rated assemblies. Article 312. 5 addresses the installation of cabinets, cutout boxes, and meter socket enclosures in fire-resistant walls, floors, or ceilings. It specifies that the integrity of the fire resistance rating must be maintained when these enclosures are installed in such assemblies. This typically involves using approved fire-stopping materials to seal any openings around the enclosure and ensuring that the enclosure itself is designed to withstand the effects of fire for a specified period. In addition to the NEC, local building codes may also have specific requirements for electrical installations in fire-rated walls. These codes may vary depending on the jurisdiction and the type of building. It is essential to consult with local building officials to determine the applicable requirements for a particular project. When installing a circuit breaker panel near a fire-rated wall, it is important to consider the potential impact on the wall's fire resistance rating. If the panel is located close enough to the wall that it could potentially compromise its fire resistance capabilities, it may be necessary to provide additional fire protection measures, such as installing a fire-rated barrier between the panel and the wall. The selection of appropriate fire-stopping materials is crucial for maintaining the integrity of fire-rated walls. These materials are designed to expand when exposed to heat, effectively sealing any openings and preventing the passage of flames, smoke, and heat. It is important to choose fire-stopping materials that are specifically listed and labeled for use in fire-rated assemblies. The proper installation of fire-stopping materials is also essential. The materials must be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and must completely fill any gaps or openings around the electrical enclosure. Regular inspections of fire-rated walls are necessary to ensure that they are properly maintained and that there are no breaches in their fire resistance integrity. Any damage or modifications to fire-rated walls should be repaired promptly using approved fire-stopping materials. The electrical contractors and building owners should be aware of the potential fire hazards associated with electrical installations and should take steps to minimize these risks. This includes providing adequate fire protection measures, conducting regular inspections, and implementing sound electrical safety practices. By following these guidelines, we can help prevent electrical fires from causing property damage, injuries, or loss of life. Fire-rated walls play a crucial role in protecting buildings and their occupants from the dangers of fire. It is imperative that these walls are properly installed, maintained, and protected from any damage or modifications that could compromise their fire resistance capabilities. Installing a circuit breaker panel in a fire-rated wall is a serious code violation that can have significant consequences. By adhering to code requirements and implementing sound electrical safety practices, we can help ensure the safety of buildings and their occupants and prevent electrical fires from causing property damage, injuries, or loss of life. When considering the placement of a circuit breaker panel in a multifamily dwelling, it's vital to understand the implications for fire safety and code compliance. Firstly, a fire-rated wall is designed to prevent the spread of fire for a specific duration, typically indicated by a rating in IRs, such as 1 IR or 2 IR fire-rated. This rating signifies the time the wall can withstand a fire before it loses its structural integrity or allows fire to pass through. Secondly, electrical codes like the NEC and local building codes dictate how electrical systems must be installed to maintain building safety, including fire safety. These codes address various aspects such as wiring methods, overcurrent protection, and the installation of equipment in fire-rated assemblies. Thirdly, any penetration of a fire-rated wall, including the installation of a circuit breaker panel, can compromise its fire resistance rating. The opening created for the panel can provide a pathway for fire and smoke to spread to other areas of the building, potentially endangering occupants and causing significant property damage. To maintain the integrity of a fire-rated wall when installing a circuit breaker panel, several options may be considered. 1. Relocate the panel to a non-fire-rated wall. This is the simplest and most effective solution, as it avoids any penetration of the fire-rated wall. 2. If relocation is not feasible, construct a fire-rated enclosure around the panel. This enclosure must be designed and constructed to provide the same fire resistance rating as the wall itself. The enclosure should be sealed tightly to the wall to prevent any gaps or openings that could allow fire to pass through. 3. Use a fire-rated panel box specifically designed for installation in fire-rated walls. These boxes are typically made of metal and are filled with fire-resistant materials to prevent fire from spreading through the panel. 4. Apply fire-stopping materials around the panel. Fire-stopping materials are designed to expand when exposed to heat, sealing any gaps or openings and preventing the passage of fire and smoke. These materials must be approved for use in fire-rated assemblies and must be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. When selecting fire-stopping materials, it is essential to consider the type of wiring used and the size of the opening around the panel. Different fire-stopping materials are designed for use with different types of wiring and different sizes of openings. Proper installation of a circuit breaker panel in a multifamily dwelling requires careful planning and attention to detail. It is essential to consult with qualified electrical contractors and building officials to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Failure to comply with these codes can result in costly rework, delays, and, most importantly, a compromised fire safety system. In addition to the technical aspects of fire-rated wall penetrations, it's also important to consider the legal and insurance implications of code violations. Building owners and contractors can be held liable for damages and injuries resulting from fire-related incidents caused by non-compliant installations. Insurance companies may also deny coverage for losses resulting from code violations. The consequences of violating fire safety codes can be severe. Therefore, it is essential to prioritize fire safety in all electrical installations. By understanding the requirements for fire-rated walls and following best practices for installation, we can help protect buildings and their occupants from the dangers of fire. Fire-rated walls and assemblies are crucial components of a comprehensive fire protection strategy in multifamily dwellings. They serve to compartmentalize the building, preventing the rapid spread of fire and providing occupants with valuable time to evacuate safely. Maintaining the integrity of these fire-rated walls is of paramount importance to ensure the effectiveness of the fire protection system. Installing a circuit breaker panel directly within a fire-rated wall introduces a potential breach in this fire barrier. The opening created for the panel can compromise the wall's ability to resist the passage of fire and smoke, allowing the fire to spread more quickly and posing a significant threat to the safety of building occupants. Electrical codes and building regulations are designed to prevent such breaches and to ensure that electrical installations do not compromise the fire resistance of building elements. These codes typically require that electrical equipment be installed in a manner that maintains the fire rating of walls and other fire-rated assemblies. When installing a circuit breaker panel in a location that may affect a fire-rated wall, it is essential to take appropriate measures to maintain the wall's fire resistance rating. This may involve relocating the panel to a non-fire rated location, constructing a fire rated enclosure around the panel, or using fire stopping materials to seal any openings around the panel. The specific requirements for fire stopping and maintaining the integrity of fire rated walls can vary depending on the applicable codes and regulations. It is essential to consult with qualified electrical engineers, architects, and local building officials to determine the appropriate measures for a particular project. In addition to code compliance, it is also important to consider the practical aspects of maintaining the fire resistance of walls. This includes ensuring that any penetrations are properly sealed, that fire-stopping materials are properly installed and maintained, and that any damage to the wall is promptly repaired. Regular inspections of fire-rated walls can help to identify any potential problems and ensure that the walls are functioning as intended. Building owners and managers should also educate tenants about the importance of fire safety and the need to avoid any actions that could compromise the fire resistance of walls. By working together, we can help ensure that buildings are safe from fire and that occupants are protected in the event of a fire emergency. Fire-rated walls are a critical component of a building's fire protection system. They provide a barrier that slows the spread of fire, giving occupants time to evacuate and firefighters time to respond. It is essential to maintain the integrity of fire-rated walls by ensuring that any penetrations are properly sealed and that the walls are not damaged or altered in any way that could compromise their fire resistance rating. Installing a circuit breaker panel in a fire-rated wall can create a pathway for fire and smoke to spread through the wall, negating its fire resistance function. Electrical codes and building regulations typically prohibit such installations unless specific measures are taken to maintain the wall's fire resistance rating. These measures may include using fire-rated panel boxes, fire-stopping materials, or constructing a fire-rated enclosure around the panel. The selection and installation of fire-stopping materials must be done carefully to ensure that they are effective in preventing the passage of fire and smoke. It is important to choose fire-stopping materials that are specifically listed and labeled for use in fire-rated assemblies and to install them in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. In addition to code compliance, it is also important to consider the practical aspects of maintaining the fire resistance of walls. This includes ensuring that any penetrations are properly sealed, that fire-stopping materials are properly installed and maintained, and that any damage to the wall is promptly repaired. Regular inspections of fire-rated walls can help to identify any potential problems and ensure that the walls are functioning as intended. By following these guidelines, building owners and managers can help ensure that buildings are safe from fire and that occupants are protected in the event of a fire emergency. Remember, the goal is to ensure that the fire-rated wall continues to perform its intended function of slowing or stopping the spread of fire.